My new location is throwing me off for a little bit. You guys, welcome to TMW Online. I am Linda. That is Abby. Special day, Sunday fun day. And we are covering all things 90-day fiance before the 90 days on our unregular day because it's the holidays. We got to be able to like move and shake and be a little bit flexible. So we're happy to have you with us. Shout out to the live chat. And are you ready for the holidays, Abby?
I'm ready. Like I'm in the spirit now. We just had our little holiday weekend at the Gaylord. That's our little two-person family tradition that we go there and spend some time there doing their holiday thing. This year, the theme is Polar Express. So like I'm ready. I got my tree. We had our family thing. I'm ready.
Yeah, me too. I'm totally into the spirit. I've been going to light shows and train shows and having hot chocolate and a little bit of wine.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And you know what else has been awesome, you guys? This episode, I don't know, B90 after or 90 Day the Other Way. They're like neck and neck for the drama for me, and I'm here for it. So we are
Right,
covering.
right. I think actually, like they're kind of winning a little bit before the 90 days because this is only episode 2.
Yeah, you might be right. You might be right. Um, Fasten your seatbelts. It's accurate. That's accurate title for uh episode 2 of this season. And we jump right in. So let's talk about your overall thoughts.
Okay, one of my overall thoughts was at what point in the very beginning of a relationship do you just walk away and cut your losses? Like, at what point do you go deeper? And at what point do you just like, because I'm not judging these people because even myself, there seems to be like a really huge decision to stay in something that is just not working out from the very beginning or is not aligned from the very beginning.
Yeah, I mean, I'm judging these people, so I don't know what to say, but there are a lot of problems that we're to that I'm like, oh Lord, what hell? No, 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 thank you. No, thank you. And speaking of no, thank you, let's just jump into Rick and Trisha. First of all, just
Hmm.
want to remind you guys that Rick is 52 years old, Trisha's only 25 years old, and it's his travel day. He's going to the airport, LAX, and his sister Mika has taken him to the airport. And I don't know about y'all, and maybe I am on holidays and I have too much time on my hands, but I just felt that Mika and Rick had weird vibes. Like not brother sister vibes, but like
Hmm.
weird vibes. I was like, why is
Hmm.
she crying? Why are they looking so intently at each other in each other's faces? Then they do this weird hug. I don't know if it's just me, but I was like, this is some weird vibes. Right, Jocelyn
Hmm.
says Rick gives me the ick. Did you notice that at all? Abby, or is it just me?
So I was watching this episode with Taylor, and Taylor just casually mentioned something about, his mother dropping him off. And I was like, oh, that's not his mother, that's his sister. So maybe that was like picking up on the weird vibe that you did. Um, I didn't feel as weird about it, but I do feel weird about him in general. Like Joss was saying, like in general, I don't feel like his behavior in my mind comports with 52.
At all. Mm-mm. Nope, 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 nope. There's something. Listen, y'all. Go back and watch that first scene, and then let me know in the chat or the replay. Just go back, because nope. My gut is like something, something, something. That being said, we also meet Trisha, who I just love the fact that she's a midwife. She's 25. We've had midwives in our family here at the Melanated Way. And so we've learned a lot about midwives, and I just have so much respect for them. Awesome nurses, awesome, awesome, awesome. We find out that she loves babies. She said something very interesting that I thought was, you know, traditional, traditional in the sense that she's from a specific tribe that she says It's very aggressive. But one of the things that they believe, and she believes specifically, is that every woman should have a child. She believes that, and that's her tribe's belief. And I just thought that was an interesting statement. She didn't elaborate on it anymore. She's just, that's the fact. And I can
Hmm.
respect your opinion. I may not necessarily agree with it, but I can respect your opinion on that belief. What did you have anything you want to add to that?
I also found it interesting when she said that, especially in comparison to she alluded to the fact that they're not very wealthy, that a lot of people maybe are having difficulty to survive. So the expectation to have a child combined with the economic situation, I was like, it's interesting because it's perpetuating poverty. But
Yeah,
I'm not here to tell anybody what to do, but it's just interesting because it obviously, if you're going to adhere to that cultural norm, it at times, maybe more often than not, it's going to put you in a position where you financially just cannot do well.
yeah, it's really interesting. Live chat is popping. Shout out to the live chat. New people and old people. Hello. Um, so yeah, interesting comment. Let us know what you believe. Do you believe that all women should have children, period, full stop? Or do you think that, it's really a woman's individual decision if she should have a baby or not? Clip that. We learned about Madagascar, and it's the fourth biggest island in the world, which I didn't know, so I loved learning something new. And it's a very remote area, and she says, Trisha, that they're poor but they're happy in life. And I thought that was, again, an interesting take. Like, we just talked about whether you need to, every woman should have a baby, but then they're living in the poorest of islands, but they're also very happy. So what makes you happy? Is your quality of life? Is it loving on your family? Like, what constitutes happiness for you, Abby?
Oh, for me, like I actually would love to ask her more in depth what she is calling like, happiness when she says we're poor but we're happy. For me, financial independence is a part of my happiness because we live in a place where if I don't have the money to have a place to live, I'm going to be out on the street. We don't really have any social safety nets. And we don't have a lot of support for mothers. She indicated that because it is, highly encouraged for every woman to have a baby, that she likes being a midwife to support women. So I would also love to know what other supports do you have for women? Like, do you provide free childcare? Do you provide free medical care for pregnant women? Do you provide birth control? Because if those things are provided, like those kind of like social safety nets, it would make more sense. But here we don't have that. We don't have that. So having financial dependence to me means that I don't have to stay in an abusive relationship. I don't have to stay in a job where I'm being, harassed or, otherwise it's not a good environment. Um, so yeah, it's tied a lot to finances here.
Yeah, I mean, great comments in the live chat. Becca, when it came to asking her question, which was every woman should have a child, do you believe that or not? Becca went and said, someone else brought up, what does that mean for queer women? And Joslo says, our body, our life, our choice. Keep the conversation going, you guys. We love hearing what you have to say, whether it's in the live chat or, ooh, what did I just do? Can you guys see me?
I
Uh,
can see you.
whether it's in the live chat or if it's in the replay, definitely let us know. And don't forget to like and subscribe. We find out there are 20 different tribes in the island or on the island of Madagascar. And we find out that Trisha is part of the Andadori tribe. And like I said earlier, she said that that's the most aggressive tribe. And as she's telling us about the tribe that she belongs to, she's going back to that area and telling us a little bit about her history in dating. She was together for 3 years with her ex, and he cheated a lot. And she finally got sick of it and ended it. And she thought that she was going to take some time apart. And ladies and gentlemen and ladies, it's okay to take a break in between breakups. You're allowed to not date and just date yourself and heal. But oftentimes I find that people want to jump from one relationship to another, and they're not healed. And then all of a sudden you're talking about you have issues. Well, yeah, you have issues because you didn't heal from your last relationship, and you're bringing that baggage and trauma to your current relationship. And that can't be fair to yourself or your partner. I'm just saying it's okay to take a break in between. But that's not what she did. She went on the apps and she met Rick, and she is very happy with him. She loves how he takes care of his kids, how he plans for the future, how he's faithful to her, which is all different things than her ex. And she completely, 100% trusts Rick, who she's never met in real life. And you guys, y'all already know. I'm not even going to do a TED talk. I'm just saying, like, does that even make sense to you? Doesn't make sense to you? Rick brings up and has been bringing up the 5 days that she quote unquote ghosted him. He was in pain and he did some things, but it was her fault because she didn't text or call in 5 days. I said right there is a red flag. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. Y'all haven't met. You didn't talk to her for 5 days. So what? Whoop-de-doo. Whoop-de-doo. But you went out and became destructive. We don't know exactly what he did, but we know it's something that he feels guilty about that is going to be a problem in their relationship, should I say? Is it a relationship? Yeah. Is it a relationship?
I mean, they're calling it a relationship. I feel like they shouldn't until they meet in person, but they're calling it a relationship. So using their terms, okay.
We're going to use my terms. And you guys know from watching us over the years, you are not in a relationship. I don't care what you say if you've never met the person in real life. Period. Full stop. You guys are online friends. You guys are online buddies. And you guys can think that you're in love. But if you have not physically met that person in real life, that is not your partner. I said what I said, and I said what I said. Clip that.
Yeah.
So Rick's getting on this flight. It's 32 hours later. Today's the day that they're going to meet up, and they are going to check into a hotel. This is another red flag to me, you guys, because she offered to have Rick stay at her house, which is important, in my opinion. If you are going to be in a relationship, you need to see how your partner lives, where they live, how they live. So to see if it can be, have some symbiosis with the way you live and how you want to live your life and how you guys are going to live your life together. But that's just me. But Rick won't stay there, even though Trisha offered, because there's no AC and there's no hot water. And she said he complains a lot. And we saw that when he landed. I'm jumping ahead a little bit, you guys, but when he landed and he was already complaining about traffic, I was like, oh, so you are a 50-something old grumpy pants? That's going to be really irritating. You know what I mean? You're traveling.
Mm-hmm.
You're at Madagascar. Enjoy it. Enjoy the culture. Enjoy the experience. Have something different. Traffic is traffic. Everyone hates traffic, but why not focus on getting to know your girl? Why not focus on the culture and the sights and the sounds? I mean, absolutely, Natalie, a man baby, 100%, a 52-year-old man baby. Anyways, so because he doesn't want to stay at her house, he's booked them into a hotel. So she's packing for the hotel. She's excited to see him in person. And, one of the things, again, and I said this last episode, and I'm going to say it this episode, women decide and do what you want, right? She's excited to have sexy time with him. And that's going to happen tonight. And she's okay with that. And I'm going to let you know, just like Jocelyn said earlier, your body, your choice. Don't let anyone shame you into thinking that it's too soon, it's this, it's that. If that's what you feel you want to do, then go ahead and do it. I want y'all to claim being sexual beings, being adults, being consenting adults, all the things. Do what you want to do. Men do what they want to do. So go ahead and do what you want to do. And don't let anyone tell you that there's something wrong with that. Period. You want to add something, Abby?
Oh, I thought you were going to give us a however. No, however? I'll give you the however. However, there are lifelong consequences sometimes to the action of sexy time. And it is worth your time to take your time and investigate and get a little test with somebody beforehand. There's nothing wrong with saying, I am super excited about spending time with you. I know a clinic that we can go to as soon as you get here. We'll get results back in 24 hours to make sure that we are both clear to go forward and still use I don't know what I can say on YouTube, but still use things to assist us in that process, but at least take this first step for the protection of both of us.
Yeah, and obviously, you guys, I meant be safe, right? But I'm also saying that
Mm-hmm.
you're allowed to have fun at any moment if that's what you choose to do. And I'm not talking about, oh, this is like a long-term relationship that you want to make some standards that will be specific for your relationship. I'm saying in general, if you decide as a grown person that you are going to do grown people things whenever you want to do grown people things, then that's okay to do it. I'm not talking about what all that obviously if you're
Yeah.
going to be grown, you have to have grown responsibilities. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying don't be shamed in deciding to do what you want to do when you want to do it. Period.
Agree.
She's excited to see him. She also keeps talking about how she thinks Rick is going to treat her really well and be faithful. I think this is like the fourth time she said how faithful he is going to be and is. And I guarantee you guys, I'm not a psychic, but I'm going to tell you that obviously he cheated because I don't need the producers to keep editing the same thing over and over again in the second episode. How faithful he was not, how he thinks that she allegedly ghosted him and therefore it's going to be okay that he cheated because it's her fault because she ghosted him. I see already the storyline coming down the pipeline. I'm not impressed with it because again, that's not your woman. Okay. That is your virtual friend. Second, 52 years old and you're going to then try to turn around and blame her for not talking to you for 5 days. Even though you guys are halfway across the world, different time zones. She's in a small little island, living her small little island life, and you are living in Los Angeles, crying about someone not calling you for 5 days. Stop playing. Stop it. Stop it. So she feels like Rick's going to treat her well, going to be faithful, but she feels like he doesn't trust her, which, you know what? Go with your gut, ladies, because he doesn't trust her and he's acting like it. She arrives at the airport. She's super nervous. And she also hopes that she wouldn't be disappointed. And I get that. You know, when you're meeting someone the first time, even if you're at an airport, maybe it's a first date and you've talked, there's been like a little bit of like good vibes. But when you meet in real life, you're like, oh, I hope I didn't do all that. I didn't put in the back work for it to suck in real life.
Right. I'm like, oh my God, I hope I didn't waste all those witty text messages.
Yeah, all the things. All the things. Right. Natalie says someone needs to explain to Rick that she didn't ghost you. She just didn't talk to you for a couple of days. You're so into your drama. Facts, Natalie. 52-year-old big man baby. So, she's nervous. She doesn't want to be disappointed. And here's something that I thought was interesting, you guys. And you know how I have to like pause and think about what that true meaning could be. Did you catch Abby when she said meeting Rick could change her life forever? What did you think she meant by that?
Unfortunately, I think that she meant realizing her goal of having babies, which is already a conflict between them.
I think it's that. I also think that it is to have what she perceives as a better life, because when we opened this episode, it was all about Madagascar and being poor but we're happy, but we need babies. I think that whole life of, hey, things are so amazing in America, can change my life forever. I can have a bunch of babies, I can be a midwife, I can live the best lives and get out of poverty and live my best life. I feel it was that because that is a very strong statement to say meeting Rick could change her life forever. Didn't say that about her ex-boyfriend who is from the same place that she's from. No.
Mm-hmm.
This is
Right.
open a whole other box. And ladies, like there's something that was said like a couple of times so far, episode 2, where some of these couples are saying, this person's my whole life. Like, what? What did you do before you met this person? And what did you do before you started talking to this person? Because you haven't actually even met them in real life. So, how is it possible for this person to be your whole life? How?
Oh, yeah. I mean, we're talking to a brick wall when we talk about that kind of stuff because there's just too many places in the world where, as a girl, as a woman, you are nothing. Your accomplishments are meaningless if you don't have a man. And
I
she
mean,
said, like in her tribe, every woman should have a child. So where is the value for a woman? The value wasn't every woman should have an education, every woman should have a career, everyone should have an invention. Like that was not the value of women as she described it to us.
I'm just saying, you guys, let's see what this whole change your life forever is going to look like. Because to me, that is a really strong statement.
This is very
So
strong. Meanwhile, have you actually ever met a man? This is for Linda and the chat. Have you actually ever met a man who really changed your whole life? Ever?
what are y'all saying in the live chat? For me specifically, have I met a man that has changed my whole life? I have met a man that brought some drama to my life that I probably would not have had I not met him. So does that count?
I mean, yeah, but like for the better. Let me refine the question. Have you ever met a man who dramatically changed your life for the better? Chat and Linda, because there's this assumption that they're going to meet these men in person, their life is going to completely change, things that are going wrong are going to go right, they're going to feel loved, they're going to feel valued, they're going to feel secure. Have you actually ever met a man who changed your life for the better in all these amazing ways?
That question's for you for live chat. I've met some amazing men who have brought wonderful things to my life that I've appreciated and loved about them. But I don't know if I can just dramatically say, you changed my life forever. It's a little too dramatic for me, and I'm just not that. So I'll love to see what the live chat says, because maybe I'm seeing it differently. While we guys, that made 0 sense. While we wait for you guys to answer in live chat, and don't forget in the replay, definitely answer those same questions. We are going to continue to move on with Rick. And so they're at the airport, and Rick and Trisha see each other for the first time, and it was a very meet cute moment. She runs out of her shoes towards him. She grabs him, and he pulls her into his arms, and then she starts crying. He's like, "Don't cry, beautiful baby. Don't cry, beautiful baby." And I know that was supposed to be a wonderful meet cute moment, but I cringed the whole way. Like, beautiful baby. First of all,
Yeah.
you're like 27 years
I
older than her. She could be your beautiful baby. You are making me cringe right now. Oh, beautiful baby, as he pets her like you pet. Oh, Lord. Lord, why? Why, Lord, why?
yeah. I was cringing. I couldn't and somebody called me on this because I originally said that I was really hoping that they worked out, but then somebody called me and was like, seriously, with their age difference, you're okay with this? And then what made it worse was when he told us that he had older children. Like he has two adult children that are older than her.
Yeah, we met
So
one of them.
watching any intimacy between them was super cringe.
Listen, we met the 29-year-old son last episode, so I'm just saying that just grossed me out. I was just like, ew, stop calling her that.
Same.
It's not the pet name that you think it's coming off as. It's coming off as super cringe.
Mm-mm.
Said
You'd be better off calling her a tomato.
Joslo said for man changing her life, changed my life by giving me kids, but nothing else. And Becca is laughing at that. Becca, yes.
I mean, the whole like he gave me my children thing. What was that? Like a 10% contribution?
What are you talking about? Oh, Joslo's comment?
Yeah, Joslo. She's like the whole like he gave me my kids thing.
Mm.
It's like such a low effort contribution. Men make that same contribution whether you're in the room or not.
I think it's more than just being a donor, Abby. I think she's saying like the whole kid raising situation. I don't know. Y'all are wild. Yeah. Who was I talking to? I was talking to Becca. I think it was Becca going barefoot in the airport. You guys already know how I feel. I don't even have to go super deep into it, but just no. Absolutely not. Thousands
Right.
thousands of people and their nastiness. Oh, no. Okay? No. They start saying, so they've known each other for 5 minutes in real life. I don't care how much time they spent online. You've known each other for 5 minutes and all of a sudden it's this. And to me, you guys, I feel like I'm just a realist. I feel like I'm a realist and, I still believe in love. So I'm a hopeless romantic, but I'm a realist and you can be both of those things. But to say, do you love me? Yes, baby, I love you. Do you love me? Yes, beautiful baby, I love you. And there's just such chemistry there. And every minute that goes by, my feelings get deeper. Bro, it's been 5 minutes. So what are you even talking about right now? Do you love me? Yes, you're for me. You're my baby. Ew to all of it. And my note says, you guys, y'all just met 5 minutes ago, IRL. How can you possibly say that you love someone and mean it in 5 minutes? If you believe in love at first sight, good on you. Sam said, yes, I'm in love with you. If you believe in love at first sight, let me know, you guys. Let me know. If you believe in love at first
Even
sight.
if you believe in love at first sight, you still would do some investigation after. Even if you saw someone, like I've met someone for the first time and said, oh, yes, everything was put together in perfect order, right? Everything, this is a vision, right? But there still needs to be some investigation done.
But I'm saying, Abby, would you tell someone in the first 5 minutes that you love them? I love you.
No, I barely say that after 5 years, so no.
I don't know about you all, but like I'm just trying to figure out what does love mean to you individually? Because I just don't. How do you love someone after 5 minutes? How?
That's a very good question to ask both of them. What exactly does love mean to you?
Right, love or super attraction at first sight, but not love. What does love mean to you that you're using those words? Because you guys,
Right.
words are powerful, right? Words are powerful. So if you're saying I love you,
Right.
you should know those words. And what does love mean to you behind all of that? Because if you're just throwing around, I love you, I love you, I love you, guess what? It loses its meaning. It's impossible, Josla says. Linda, you can't do that after 5 minutes. Listen, I'm not even saying I love you after one day, 1 month. I have to mean it. If I say I love you, I mean it. And I think that's why I'm taking this so like serious.
Mm-hmm.
Question. We have a lot of questions of the day. What does love mean to you?
Yes, please tell us.
Let us know in the live chat. Let us know. Let us know. Let it snow. You see how I did that transition? So good.
You need your
Uh,
microphone.
I do, but I'm not where I know. I'm somewhere different. So I don't have a microphone with me. I just have my pen that could act like my microphone. Okay. They get in the ride share. He's already complaining because he's a grumpy old man about the traffic. And this is where you guys, I think you need to understand how important this scene is. Okay. Because it's going to be important for the future. He is like, wow, we haven't gone anywhere. And she's like, yeah, when I come for work, sometimes it takes 2 hours to get home. And he didn't believe her. He questioned her about that. And he made some choices because he didn't hear from her for those 5 days. Part of it was traffic, right? She gets off of work. She's working like what, 5, 6 days a week as a midwife, maybe even more. Then she's 2 hours traffic to get home and wants to cook her dinner first before she reaches out. But no, it's her fault because she didn't call him as soon as she got home every single day. So he spun out. This is going to be important. So I want y'all to remember that. Okay. This is going to be very important moving forward. So the next thing, Abby, that I just like, oh, you're 52 for sure. When he said, you're the prize, you're my prize, baby. Beautiful baby, you're my prize. And my feelings, don't forget, you guys, it's been like an hour. My feelings are so deep for you. And I'm going to see that it's going to be hard here because there's a lot of competition. And I just know that you're the prize. I was like, first of all, you're insecure. Second of all,
Extremely.
that distrust you have for her is because you already cheated. And you guys, when a cheater cheats, they feel insecure because they're feeling guilty about what they've done. So if someone's like, oh, did you do this and you do that? And you're searching through your phone and they're like, doing all the things, it's because guaranteed they've done something to you that they feel guilty about. So, cut with the drama. Let's see what happens. But just know when someone is like, hey, you did this and you did that, it's because they did the same thing. They get to the loft at the Hotel Chalet de Roses and they love it. And it's actually quite cute. The loft I thought was quite cute. I love a loft. I love a good loft, you guys. The two floor loft. I love it. And they settle in quite quickly. She takes a shower. All of a sudden, she's in sexy lingerie. And you guys, I don't want to make such a huge deal about it, but I kind of do want to because it's a thing. So I'm just going to say that it's not very often we see the women in the 90-day franchise all like sexified. But what we do see a lot of is a lot of the foreign women, whether they're coming to America or staying where they are, we see them sexualized a lot. And oftentimes it's the minority women. And it makes me feel uncomfortable sometimes because when you're filming, you didn't ask that same American counterpart to do the same thing that you want this woman to film. And I just think we have to pay attention to that a little bit because it doesn't sit right with me. That's what I'll say.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So Trisha's in her sexy lingerie after her shower. And then what's this? Rick comes out after his shower and doesn't want anyone else. Just wants her. And she feels the same way. And that's why they're about to have some sexy time. He comes out. And you guys, I just think he's super corny. I think he's corny. I don't like at 52, I would think that you were just more manly and more just not corny. He comes
Right.
out.
Like, I want him to move with more confidence, not that weird sheepishness that feels like immaturity. There was
Exactly.
definitely something about the way that he was moving that I was like, this would dry me up. This would just make me go straight to I'm not interested anymore.
Yep. Absolutely. Agreed 100%. 100%. You know what? You know what it is? You just nailed it. You know that insecurity, it's seeping out in his pores. And so he might be like all muscle and 52 and all the things, but that insecurity is seeping out, and it seeps out in gross ways, and I dare say manipulative ways, because now when he's done wrong, he's going to start to blame the 25-year-old, and it's not her fault. Anything you want to add to these two before we move on to the next?
I have another question for you guys. So, how do you feel about someone being intimate with you if they know they have information that they need to disclose to you? So, do you feel like that is in any way, wrong or misrepresenting the situation? Is there any obligation on his part to say, there are some things we need to talk about before we become intimate?
I would think so. I mean, if you cheated, you better tell her. You better tell her immediately. Hey, listen, I did XYZ and I wanted to come clean with you, or I wanted to let you know so that you can make an informed decision about what you want to do. Because as far as I know, things are exactly how we left them. So if something changed and I need to be made aware of that, then absolutely make me aware so that I can make an informed decision.
Right.
That's why he wants some insecure 20-year-old. And you know what? I dare say that she's probably more successful in a lot of ways than he is. Emotionally, maturity, I could go on and on and on.
Mm-hmm.
For that, we're moving on to Forrest and Sheena. I just want to say that Forrest has become my new favorite herald of the season. If you watched Match Me Abroad, then you would know exactly what I'm talking about. Overall thoughts on their segment, Abby?
So something happened this episode that I think I just glossed over the last episode. So this episode, I learned that Forrest is unemployed.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, oh, wait. I had assumed that this whole money situation was money that he was sending. Now I am learning that this is her own money. And for me, that changes the entire conversation about who she's giving the money to, where she's been saving it, because why are you unemployed dictating what she's doing with her own money? So that's a change from anything that I said last week.
Yeah, and I have a lot to say about it, a lot. But you and I are on the same page with that, Abby. What?
What? Actually, I'm not surprised we're on the same page about this because we very rarely disagree about money. We disagree about other stuff, but we don't disagree about money.
No, yeah, we're not messing around with this money.
No.
Show me the money. And yeah, okay, so there's so much going on with them. There's so much going on, and I have so many notes, so I'm gonna like kind of try to power through. So first of all, Sheena and Forrest are doing a dancer-size video together, FaceTiming, they're working out all together. I don't know the last time you all saw dancer-size, but I think I was 6, like I don't know, in the 80s. Exercise, I think it was even a VHS or a DVD. I was like, what are y'all what cracked me up, but in line with what's going on with them as far as I'm concerned, dancer size. So they're working out together, which I think is great. I think that that's a nice little activity to do when you're miles and miles apart. But the other thing that is going to be a thing, and y'all know how I feel, but so you just did a workout and then you're just going to sit on the couch after sweating. You're just going to sit and nest on the couch like that. You're not going to say like, hey, let's take like 10-15 minutes and clean up and I'll meet you back right here. No, you're just going to sit down in the sweaty, and then you're going to invite people over. And I know that you didn't clean that chair or that couch. And so they're going to sit down on your nasty sweatiness. And all of a sudden you just continue to do that. And it just builds up and it just is nasty and smelly. No, Why do y'all do that? Why do y'all put me through that? I had to have that whole conversation. Are they both just sitting down after they just worked out and all sweaty? He just told us his butt crack was sweaty and you just sit down. No. Then the other thing that I thought was hilarious. So he's talking about how when he gets to the Philippines, they can continue to work out together. But his whole thing is if we work out, then afterwards we can just go have cake. And he doesn't feel those two things cancel each other out, which I thought was adorable. So yeah, go ahead and work out and then let's go have some cake. And they're trying to plan their alone time once he gets there. But we already know that his mom, Molly, and his stepdad, Dev, are going to be traveling with him because he's been scammed in the past and they feel like, you know, they can go there and be his support. And I want you to remember that I said that because as we move forward in their segment, it's hilarious. So they're there to support Forrest. And we remember that Forrest, is he autistic or is it ADHD? I think
He said ADHD, but we are suspecting that he might have a little bit of autism too.
Yeah. Okay. So I want you to also keep that in the back of your mind as well, because there's so much that has happened in this segment. So the mom is worried about Sheena's parents taking all the money. And I'm going to say the money because it's the money, but really it's her money. Her meaning Sheena's own money. Sheena's money. Forrest's mom, Molly, is concerned that Sheena's own parents are taking Sheena's own money. It's very important to clarify that because we were led astray in episode 1. Led astray in episode 1. What happened in episode 1 is that we found out that Forrest has done this before where he's met a woman online, he's gone to see them, and he got scammed out of like some money, right? So when we were thinking about money being sent or money being spent or money being given, we assumed, and by we mean episode 1, not Abby and I, we were led to believe that this is the American Forrest money. Okay. So Molly has the audacity, yes, I said it, to worry about the money that Sheena is giving to her parents. Sheena's own money to Sheena's own parents. Okay. And so she doesn't trust Sheena anymore. And on the flip side, Forrest is worried and afraid to meet her family because he feels like they're not going to like him. Because he, Forrest, who's unemployed, made Sheena independent from her family. Forrest, who doesn't have a job, made this doctor / veterinarian independent from her family. Just let that settle in. Just let that settle in to you. Because, okay, it's departure day. He's a little ticked off to the point where he feels like he may have to break up with Sheena because she did some breakup stuff. When he asked her, how much money have you saved for the K1 visa? He thought it was going to be $4,000. But last night, the night before he's leaving, he found out that she's been giving all that money to her parents. And so therefore, he feels like Sheena has been lying to him. And she hasn't been saving the money. So now he feels like this is the third time that she's lied about money and he maybe doesn't trust her and maybe he shouldn't be with her. Okay. Goes on to say that he thinks that her parents are sabotaging their relationships and that the parents are manipulating her and threatening her. And part of the threats is that they're going to kick her out of the house and into the streets. Now, there's so much to unpack there. So I'm just going to say this. Okay. You're mad at her for spending her own money on her family that she probably has to help support because she is a professional in the Philippines. She's an actual doctor. She's a veterinarian, a doctor to the animals. But you, who are unemployed, who you and your mama and your stepdaddy haven't even left the state, never jumped on a plane before, don't know what you're talking about. You're going to turn around and have the audacity as an American to tell this Filipino woman how to spend her money that she earned with her own hands. Stop it. Absolutely stop it. That mentality right there is what's wrong with a lot of these international relationships. How much money have you saved, Forrest? How much have you saved? And did Sheena get scammed out of money before in the past? Or, oh, sorry, did that happen to you? I, and so I, as a professional, as a veterinarian, I'm going to listen to you for financial advice. When I've established myself as a professional and I have not been scammed, I'm going to go to the unemployed person who has been scammed and take information and facts from you. Stop it.
Right.
You have a
And
question, then go ahead and elaborate if you like. Natalie wants to
how
know how.
much is Natalie? The filing fees have recently changed, so I actually need to look it up to be able to tell you. But apart from the filing fees, there are also attorney's fees. My question for Forrest is why is she saving up into the thousands? Are you going to be asking her to pay um, for the attorney fee as well as the filing fees? Because that's significantly more than what it should be. Okay, so there are three different filing fees that we're looking at. There's the petition that you file first, and then before you go to the interview, you have to pay some additional fees. And then once you come to the US, there's another fee that you pay on arrival. So the filing fee for the first step is $675. The filing fee for the second step right before the interview is 940. There's two separate fees, 940 and then 220 on arrival. So all of that together is what 3,000 around there. So are you asking her? She's supposed to. You thought she saved 4,000 for the KV. So are you asking her to also pay the attorney plus the filing fees? I think it's reasonable to have her contribute to it, but to have her pay 100%, I think is not quite reasonable.
Right, because what is he bringing to the table? What is he paying for?
Right. I mean, and at this point, since he's unemployed, he would also have to have someone else be the sponsor. He wouldn't be able to be the sponsor himself either. So exactly what skin do you have in the game? Why is she paying for all of it? And then my other issue is if you know like you're choosing to date internationally, you know the money conversion is not the same. So to have someone be responsible for paying for the entire K visa process themselves, I think is also unreasonable if they're at a, detriment on the exchange rate. And then the very last thing is like if you're expecting a traditional marriage, if you're expecting her to be the one to support you and cook food and have kids and raise kids, then why are we going into the marriage with her putting up any money whatsoever?
Everything that Abby just said, all of those things. All of those things. So again, Molly does not trust Sheena and doesn't trust Sheena's parents and literally has the audacity to say that she wants to talk to Sheena's parents. What do you want to talk to them about? You want to talk to them about their daughter giving them money or supporting them financially in any way? How is that any of your business? How? And how are you going to
None whatsoever.
how are you going to villainize this professional woman when you would probably want your son to take care of you if you were in need?
Yeah.
Make that
The
it
only
doesn't.
I don't think that he has the right to make those kind of inquiries. Um, if he was putting some money in the game, if he was like, oh, I sent her money for rent, I sent her money for a business that we're going to open together, I sent her money for when I come over there for us to have a place to stay or an apartment, whatever. But that's not the case here. He's contributed nothing. He thinks that he gets to dictate where her money goes with
Yes.
him making no contribution whatsoever, which is just ridiculous, which is just do not let these men, I don't know what kind of reach we have, but if you're a foreign woman dating an American man, okay, the very least that you can expect is for him to pay for everything. Like that's the least that he can do, right? I'm not talking to you guys who live in the Euro, okay? I'm talking to other people. The least they can, because there are a host of problems, right? Nobody who is specifically seeking to date a woman who is outside of the United States is a lovely, pleasant man who you're going to have a bright future with. I'm sorry, they're not. Okay. So the least they can do for the trouble that you're going to have to be with them for a short time or a long time is pay for everything.
She said what she said. Okay, so all of that, and then we're gonna sprinkle some just funny, ridiculous, small town, small behavior, but I thought it was funny. So they're going on this international trip, you guys. They're probably been gone for at least 2-3 weeks, but Forrest has only packed a backpack. That's what he's traveling with for 3 weeks in the Philippines. And we find out through a series of cornucopia mismatched behaviors. Molly and Dev, I don't know how old Dev is, but he's got to at least be in his late 60s, have never traveled. They've never left the state. They've never been on a plane. They actually have never even been to the airport at all. That Portland airport, when I say Molly was excited just to see the sign that said airport, she was losing her mind, you guys. And this is what I thought of. Okay, these are the things that I thought of because so much was happening as they were traveling. So I was thinking about how often, Abby, you and I travel, right? We travel a lot. And to anyone that travels a lot, you have a system, you have a routine, you want to be in and out of the airport, like maybe you're fast track, maybe you're TSA pre, maybe you're Nexus, maybe you're global entry, exactly. And I'll tell you, the workers, TSA workers, they all know who's been in and out, and they'll help you get in and out. But then there are people that have never traveled, and I'm not talking like the occasional traveler where maybe you travel once or twice a year. I'm talking people who've never traveled before. They stand out, and it's for them. And I find that that's great because you want to have that first experience, but you guys also could be a little detrimental to the rest of us who are trying to get to where we need to get to. That being said, Molly and Dev are a train wreck. You guys, they're excited about the Portland airport sign. Then they have these bags. The bags are all over the place. They're falling off the trolley. Molly has brought snacks, some blueberries. Her blueberries start flying all over the place. And she's like, oh, you know what? I'm going to have to eat these blueberries. They're my snacks. Then, even though she's never traveled before, never been on a plane, she did her research and she wants, and you guys picture, a middle-aged woman and a later older man. She wants to, quote, join the Mile High Club. I looked over at her and I looked over at Dev and I was like, what is happening here? It's like a clown show. There's nowhere to look. There's so much happening. Blueberries falling all over the place. Suitcases falling over the place. And then to top all of that, it's a mess. Dev is every 5 seconds saying, where's my bag? Where's my bag? Molly's saying, where are we going? Where are we going? Oh, I see a sign that says bathroom. Oh, I think I'm going to go to the bathroom. Meanwhile, Dev is distracted and said, oh, look, there are wheels on this bag.
It was already funny, but when she just randomly got on a people mover going in the wrong direction.
Forrest, who has ADHD, who's 32 years old, who may or may not have autism as well, voice of reason at the airport. Forrest is the only one that has traveled before. He's ding dong. He even said it. He's like, it's like babysitting adults. So then, you guys, there's more. Molly's like, they're getting on the plane, and Molly's like, where do I find my seat? Forrest is like, you just got to look at the numbers on your ticket. Just look at the number on your ticket and find that number. Then you totally know that they've never traveled before, because when the cameraman pans across, y'all, she's in seat 10A, which is a window, and he's over here in 10F, which is a center, let's say G, a center seat across the way. And Molly is screaming and across 2 aisles of people at her husband.
Oh my God. This reminds me of my she's not my grandma, but my niece and nephew's grandma, May. She was coming to Maryland for my niece's graduation. And so they asked if she could fly with us. She just took a seat as soon as we got on the plane. And we're like, Grandma May, that's not your seat. And she was like, this seat's fine for me. I'll just sit here. The flight attendant was so nice. She's like, it's not a full flight. It's okay. But she just took a seat.
The freaking frack over here. Craziness. So a cute moment happened. They're at their first layover. And I guess everyone knew they had never traveled before. So the flight crew wrote a little note and gave Dev like his first wings. So now he has his wings. So, like you have little kids, little babies who like are able to go to the cockpit, and then they meet the flight crew, and then they get their little wings. So this like 67-year-old man just did that, which, is kind of special because he's never been on a plane before. But they're also like wild. They're like wild hyenas. So they got their first layover, and Forrest really feels like he's babysitting adult children. And they're at the airport, you guys, and it's a continuation of what happened at Portland Airport. Molly's distracted by postcards. She's like, oh, they have postcards at the airport. She's on the walking escalator, but walking the wrong direction. And Forrest is like, where are you going? And then where am I going? Where am I going? And then he's like, this is literally Forrest, you guys, 32 years old, who's the one that they came to support. He's like this, please, can we just make it to Hong Kong? Please. And then we find out a little bit more about his background again, you guys, where he has traveled. One of the reasons he's the only one that has traveled is he traveled before because he met someone, flew out, stayed at a place, and got scammed out of $2,000. The person, he gave that person the money, and they took the money and left, and that was it. So that's why his parents were coming with him. Now, they're getting onto their second flight, right? They're going Hong Kong to the Philippines. And this is Molly. This is all we're hearing about Molly. Oh, I got kinkles and my feet are holding fluid. I can't believe it. Where are we going? Why are you always asking where you're going? You don't know by now? You don't know that you're going to the Philippines? The part that just, I said, okay, I see where we're going. I see what this trip is going to be about. When they get on their third flight, this is the flight to the Philippines, and the doors close on the plane, you guys, Molly screams, "Yeehaw! Yeehaw!" God bless those people.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
All right. So Forrest is really excited to finally meet up with his online girlfriend, Sheena, because he's never kissed a girl before. And he's excited to experience that because he heard it is sweet and salty. It tastes sweet and salty, just like a caramel. It's very descriptive. Who told you that, Forrest? I'd like to know.
Also, why do you believe it? Because you can taste your own mouth. Your mouth doesn't taste like a caramel.
Oh, Abby, you are just very direct today. I love it. I'm usually the direct one. You're on it. I love it. I love it.
I came in from a birthday party. But yeah, like I was thinking that when he said that, I was like, empirical evidence, which is your own mouth, should tell you that it doesn't taste like a caramel. But yeah, I'll let him have it. I'll let him have that fantasy.
Right. And let's see what happens when he actually has his kiss in real life.
Mm-hmm.
24 hours earlier, we met Dr. Sheena, 40. I already told you guys she's been a vet. She's been a vet for 10 years. We find out that, she's shy and anxious in real life, in person. She doesn't really do well with people, but she found over the years that she has a special connection with animals, and that's why she became a veterinarian. She doesn't have a lot of interaction with people, so she spends a lot of time outside of work. So she works 6 days a week, 8 hours a day, but she plays video games on her time off and watches TV. And that's probably why she doesn't have a really active social life. But what she does have is that she talks to Forrest 7 days a week on the cameras. And she was asked by the producers whether she watches Forrest on the camera sometimes when he doesn't know. And she said yes. And this is where she thought she had a little bit of kink. And I thought that was funny, but weird. She talks about how her relationship with Molly, Forrest's mom, has soured because, according to Molly, Sheena's lied about her financial savings and that she gave those savings to her family. Molly feels the trust has been broken permanently, literally says, "How could you do this to us? How could you do this to our family? There is no excuse. Forrest needs to end the relationship." And all caps, I said, what? If anyone needs to end the relationship, is Sheena. How do we do what to what family? This is my money. I can spend it how I see appropriate. And if I want to support my family, I'm absolutely going to support my family. What does that have anything to do with you? Why is your trust broken? Your trust is broken permanently because I spent my money on my family. Make it make sense, Abby.
I can't because it doesn't make any sense. So, Natalie mentioned in the chat that maybe he gets some kind of disability. Maybe. So I'll leave room for a correction. I don't mind correcting my statements if something else proves to be true. But as of now, we don't see any financial contribution that he's making. So we'll keep on watching and we'll keep on recapping to see what happens.
Facts. Moving on to, we meet a new couple. Aviva, who's 28 from Arizona, and Stig, 30 from Belize. Overall thoughts before I get into it, Abby?
This is stupid.
Period. Period. Stupid, period.
Like, when I did my first review of all of the couples, I knew that she had been to Belize, so I thought they had met in person previously. And now that I'm learning they actually have never been in each other's company before, I was just like, oh, this is stupid.
I think that this is ridiculous. There's so many things that just irritated me about this segment. First and foremost, okay, it's screaming for TV. That's what it's screaming.
Mm-hmm.
Screaming, I didn't know who Stig the artist was prior to this. Now I know who it is, and that's exactly why he would do this show. It's screaming, you went to Belize, didn't meet this fool, but then came back, tagged Belize in social media, and he just randomly DM'd you, and now you guys are in love and you're going back to Belize when your friggin' aunt lived there for 20 years. you know, when the math is not mathing, it's not mathing for me. That's how I'm feeling. I'm like, they're about to waste my time and I'm going to be irritated. And here are the things I'm already irritated with. So, Aviva, 26, Phoenix, dental assistant, awesome. Been in relationships since 13. That's debatable because 13, what do you know about a relationship? But let's say that you started hanging out with whoever you thought was attractive at the age of 13. Okay. You're not calling those relationships though, are you? Stop it, y'all. Words are important. Her aunt, Spring, lived in Belize for 20 years. And she went to visit her aunt this one time in the 20 years that her aunt lived there, came back, posted her video on social media, and Stig, the artist, DM'd her. And they were friends at first, back and forth DMing. And then now they're romantic, even though they've never met in real life. They've been talking about marriage and kids. And she feels, without ever meeting him in real life, that he is a romantic, that he's a charmer, that he has a kind soul. She loves his eyes. She loves his voice. She loves his hair, which you guys also put me in a little bit of a cringe. I'll say this. You think you love all those things about this man, but you've never met him in real life. So how do you know that you love his eyes? Is it from the FaceTimes that you guys have done? The voice because you guys have talked on the phone? Kind soul, how could you possibly know that you've never met him in real life? You only know what he presented to you online or through conversations on the phone or through text messages. So how could you possibly know that? Speaking of marriage and kids, are you speaking of marriage and kids with someone you've never met in real life? Why? You cannot like him in the first 5 minutes of seeing him. Why are we talking future when you guys haven't even met in real life? Last and certainly not least, because it's very important. And I'm just going to say it this way, and it's going to sound a little crass, but it's because I need you guys to really get the point. White people, stop with the hair situation with any minority. We don't like it. Okay. Don't care if you think it looks different. We don't need to touch it. We don't ask about your hair. We don't touch your hair. We don't randomly just go and be like this and this and this. If you like something, that's great. Say that, but don't do more than that. Please and thank you. Okay. Moving on. We find out a little bit more about Spring, her aunt, and how she was married to a Belizean man for 20 years, but he cheated on her over and over and over again. And I just want to say, like, if you've known that he's been cheating for 20 years, why'd you stay so long? Do you know what I mean? Why'd you stay so long? Oh.
I feel like she would be willing to answer that question. She seems pretty open. I think Aunt Spring would probably be like, "Yeah, I was dumb," or he made like. I just feel like she would be open to the question.
I think so too, and I think that she's trying to teach her niece the errors of her ways, right? So we find out that Spring has heard things before about Stig, the artist. And one of the things is that he made a song called Vicky, performed it at a concert. Apparently, that song is about another girl named Vicky, and Vicky was actually at the concert, and they went there together and they left together. And one of the things that we hear from Aunt Spring is that Belize, and that's true, it's very small. Everyone knows everyone. And if you don't know someone, I'm adding this, you know someone who knows them. So
Mm-hmm.
that's the level of closeness that happens there. And but Aviva doesn't want to believe her aunt. She's like, no, I don't believe it. I don't think that's true. I don't think that's happening. And so she's going to travel to meet Stig. And one of the things, Stig has a specific requirement that he would love for Aviva to do when she's coming to see him. And that is he loves American Chinese food. And specifically, he wants firecracker shrimp. Now, you guys, has she never packed a lunch before? Because packing a lunch is the same as packing food. When you're traveling, you can ask any immigrant. We know how to pack some food because we're going to pack the snacks and the foods that we like so that we can take it home with us and have a little bit of home while we're abroad. But what we're not about to do is go to a fast food joint and just the regular styrofoam container that they put the food in. You're just going to pop that in a bag and that's it. There's no like a Tupperware, there's no glass, there's no tin foil, there's no wrapping, there's not putting it in a proper container and storing it correctly. Nowadays they even have uh lunch boxes that are heated to keep the food heated. You could have a bag that's insulated and put it in, like, you have very many options. And so when
Oh
you're
yeah.
when you're saying that the firecracker shrimp is leaking and it's smelling and you're traveling for X amount of hours, let's say 12 hours, with this stinky shrimp that you haven't fully um, packed correctly, it it makes me wonder about you.
Oh, Aviva let us know here that she's a little bit slow. Um, because first of all, if you asked me for some Americanized firecracker shrimp, I would not go to Panda Express to get that. I recognize Panda Express anywhere. Okay. That was Panda Express. If you're gonna eat for like, I don't recommend eating there, but if you are gonna eat there, you need to eat the food you get from there within an hour, and that's kind of pushing it. Okay. She went the day before, not even the day of the flight, to Panda Express and got this food and then failed at being able to pack it well. And this is Aviva letting us know that she's just going to make terrible decisions the entire time that we see her on the show. Because what was that?
Exactly. Exactly. What was that? Uh that's all I have to say. She wants to leave Belize with a ring, and she's the second person to say that he's my whole world right now. And I just like, what are you talking about? You never even met him. You're a dental assistant. Let that be part of your world.
Right. So many things could be a part of your world right now.
Mhm.
Um, But women, and the thing is, like, we say that we believe it. I think our audience believes us too. But there are so many women who get punished for making their priority other things in the world. I was on Kara's page the other day, the one she was on 90 Day. Um, what's Happily Ever After. And she's made a decision to pursue like a music career. And every single one of her videos in the comment section is go home, take care of your son. You need to pay more attention to Guillermo. You need to, what I mean? Like she's being punished for having a focus that is not that man. And
Wow.
so I understand why women will sometimes concede to this idea that my life is not complete until I have a man, because there are repercussions, societal repercussions for those of us who choose not to follow that pathway.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, you're right. All I know is that episode 2, we're there's a lot going on with all these couples already. So let's see. Last and certainly just a lot is Emma and Ziad, both 27. Emma is coming out of Los Angeles, going to Morocco, and they're already fighting as soon as she lands. And when I say as soon as she lands, as soon as she walked out of the airport, they were fighting. And I have a lot of issues with this specific couple, because I call it bait and switch. I think what Ziad has done, and Abby, you spoke about this before, and so if you want to speak on it again, that'd be great. But I feel like he's bait and switched her, and then now is trying to make her seem like she's the villain and she's crazy and high maintenance, all the things, but she's only going off of the information that you gave her.
Hmm. And we've seen this before with men specifically from Morocco. We've seen it with men from India. There is there is what appears to be a cultural acceptance and telling people whatever they want to hear, whatever makes them happy, and withholding the truth from them until you're in person with them or until a situation happens where you are forced to give them the truth, you know? We've seen it happen over and over again, and there does not appear to be any kind of understanding from the person who's doing it that it's wrong, that it's deceitful. And they oftentimes will get mad at the reaction that they have from the person who's just now learning the truth. And they genuinely will say, I think the one who communicated it the best was Jen. Um, uh, oh goodness, Jen was the one who was on the other way, and she went. And I'm sorry, I can't call his name right now, but he communicated it the best. He said that like even with his mom and even with his sister, he just tells them whatever they want to hear until he has to tell them the truth, and that's just the way that they operate in his family in that culture.
Mm.
So it's something to think about when you are deciding to date internationally. Your standards of what is the truth and what is a lie just doesn't, it's not a norm everywhere.
That, and you guys, you don't know the person. You might think it's this and that. I keep saying it. Virtual is not a real relationship. You do not know that person to be saying, oh, I'm going to marry him as soon as I land. I expect a ring. Because they can say whatever they want to you, but it's real life that matters, right? It's real life. So Ziad has been saying a bunch of stuff to her about being intimate and what they can do, where they can stay together, all the things. So as soon as she landed, all of a sudden, those things go out the window. He says, yeah, we're not going to be intimate. We can hug and kiss on the cheek, but that's it because you need to respect my religion. He goes to kiss her on the cheek. She turns away. He gets upset and says, oh, you care more about your makeup than you do about this relationship. Well, no, she is turning away because she is not understanding what's happening here because she was fully expecting to hug and kiss you because you said that that's what you guys were going to do. You said that that was okay. And she literally said, you never talked about your religion one time. The whole time you were courting her, you never talked about your religion. She lands, and then you want to have an attitude and say, respect my religion, when you've never brought that up to her. That is ridiculous. How is she
Yeah.
supposed to know it's so important to you when you've never mentioned it? How?
Hmm.
You guys already,
Right.
I'm not dating y'all, and you guys know that my faith is important to me because I mention it, right? It's the same thing. But worse, because this is someone you're supposed to be dating. This is someone that you're supposed to love. This is someone that you're allegedly going to marry. And you've never mentioned your religion. As you guys know, that's part of the 5 things that you guys have to talk about before you get serious. How do you not mention religion before this woman got on a plane?
Right. It was Rishi who I was thinking about. Jen and Rishi. Rishi's the one who kind of expressed it in a way that I was like, oh, okay, like it's clicking for me why this keeps on happening with people from certain areas. Um, I also think that what was interesting with them is when the producer actually pushed him on it, he still did not see a problem. He
Yep.
still didn't see a problem. The producer was pushing him on, but she spoke to you on the beach. She was wearing a bikini. She said this, you said that. And he was like, yeah, but I changed. I texted her and told her that was different on the plane. He still does not see a problem with what he said to her previously.
Because that's manipulation and bait and switch, right? So if you think about someone who's a manipulator, they're going to manipulate, and they're not going to take responsibility for any of their actions. They're just going to continue to twist and manipulate, and they're okay with that because they, even if you try to hold them accountable, they're so slippery that they're not going to be held accountable because that's something that they've just never done. So you can't force someone to be accountable, right? They're either going to
And you can't.
the scruples and they're going to have the soul to say, hey, listen, let me take a step back and reevaluate my part in this. Or they're going to be like, no, that has nothing to do with me.
Right.
I said it. That's not what I'm saying today. And they're okay with that. That's how scam artists are able to scam because they can continue to believe what they want to believe and switch it up when they want to switch it up. So
Yeah.
the thing that I also think here's some manipulation and also some control that is scary to me because when you see it in little micro doses like this, you know that deep down it exists on a bigger scale. So they're arguing. He's like, just come, because he's upset with her. And she's like, no, she's just walking. And he's like, don't walk away from me. Just come. And he wants her to like walk ahead. And she's like, no, I'll do what I want. I'll walk where I want, when I want. And he's like, no, just come. That, I know it's a small thing, you guys, but I got to tell you, this is part of power and control. And that in a relationship. So Emma acknowledges that the trip is off to a bad start, but she's reminding herself of the things that she loves about Ziad, which again, to me, you guys, I have an issue with, because how do you know you love him? You just met him 5 minutes ago. And if you're having to already remind yourself because you guys have been fighting for the 5 minutes that you've known each other, that's the issue. I mean, first impressions are real impressions. You're getting terrible vibes from him. Go ahead and listen to your gut. In the first 5 minutes, you're fighting, and then you're getting terrible vibes from him. You need to turn around and go back in the airport and go back home. That's my opinion.
Or just go ahead and call this a solo trip in Morocco, because I don't see where you can go from there. I've been thinking about it. Like, is there a way culturally for you to, make this work out if someone really truly believes that it's okay to tell you lies or fibs and they would not call them a lie or a fib? And I really don't think there is. I really don't think there is a way to be healthy in that cultural, difference and dynamic.
And how do you know what the truth is? The truth is not the truth, or is it the truth? If you believe it just because you said it, that's the truth. That's wild.
You'll never know. You'll never know. And like, if you try to change who you are to be the same as them, now you're just both being deceitful to each other.
Exactly.
This is one of the many reasons why, if you are a woman who doesn't have your own like career, your own money, your own financial independence, it's so detrimental to put all of your faith and trust into a man, because he could be lying to you and leading you to ruin. And even worse than doing that, he does not see a problem with it. Like, it's one thing when somebody lies to you and they know they're lying to you. Like, at least, you land at the airport and he says, look, I know I told you some things were very different. I just really wanted you to be here. That's not the way it's going to be while we're here. I lied to you. But this guy, even when she's not in the room, he could not admit or recognize that what he did was wrong. That's dangerous.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Absolutely. So trip's off to a bad start, but she's going to stay and ride it out. So they are going to stay at a riad, and she asks him, so as boyfriend and girlfriend, what does that entail? And he said, well, that means that we're going to stay in opposite rooms. And we're not going to be intimate. And she's like, well, that's opposite to what you said before I got here. Right. And again, this is the second time I wrote down, well, that's a bait and switch, right? Because she was expecting that they were going to stay in the same room. They were going to be intimate, all the things. And Abby pointed out how even the producers pushed him on it, showed the clip of exactly what he said on air on international TV. And he was like, no, that's not what I said. So then this is the part that's also scary that I want to add on to what Abby was saying, is that he then goes on to say to camera that he thinks that Emma is emotional and unpredictable. No, MF. She's not emotional and unpredictable. And I hate when men do this. She's being emotional because she is just learning the truth because you've been lying. So yeah, she's in her feelings a little bit, but she's not overly emotional. She's like, what is happening? It's a mind F because you've said all this whole time. Finally, we meet in real life, and all of a sudden, it's not all the things that you've been building it up for the last however months. All of a sudden, I'm supposed to say, oh, just get with the program because this is what it is today. Are you crazy? And then say she's unpredictable. Boy, you just spun the block. What are you friggin' talking about? You're unpredictable. I can't believe a word you said because today you're saying this thing, you're going to camera and literally saying to the world, I didn't say those things. Or even if I did those things aren't true. but you want to then now blame her for being emotionally unpredictable. What? So they get to the Riyadh. The Riyadh is actually really beautiful. It does look like a castle, all the things. They decide that they're going to have a traditional Moroccan meal prepared by the housekeeper. They're having tagines. He's explaining to her how to eat it. You dip it and all the things. Interesting little fact to me is that it's full of olives and she hates olives. And obviously, that wasn't the conversation that he was trying to have with her. Obviously, it shows me that you guys don't know each other, because had you known that, would that have been the thing that you chose for her? Since there are a ton of other amazing, delicious Moroccan meals that could have been made, right? Or is this just about you because you love it? The fact that you were even telling her the way she's dipping it is wrong. I mean, it just says a lot about all the things. I'm just taking a minute because I was like, am I going to go off in this point, or am I just going to keep going? I'm just going to keep going. So Emma is really concerned about this relationship and how everything she thought she knew was not it. So she's reaffirming that he's saying something different than everything that she knew. So they're not going to be sexual this whole trip. That's not what he told her. You're not sharing the same room, because that's not what he told her. He is now trying to gaslight her and say to her that she is more interested in sex than love, because now they can only hug and kiss. You guys see all the cuss words that want to come out of my mouth, but it's holidays and I'm on my best behavior. But think of all the cuss words that would come to your mind right now and say those, because that's what I'm saying virtually. Have you lost your everlasting mind? So you want to gaslight her into believing she's the problem? She's starting to spiral, as she should, because what is this? So one of the things that she did was she went to Ziad's social media, saw that he follows thousands and thousands of girls. She decided to randomly message some of them. She finds out that he's actually been talking to one of them, as in there's another interest going on. Just like how they've been talking virtually, he's been talking to someone else virtually and having that quote unquote relationship move forward. And he tries to gaslight her again and say, no, those are old messages. Do you see? How can you be in a relationship with someone who just constantly denies and switches stuff up? I say to Tony, hey, Tony, what color is the sky? And Tony says the sky is blue. And I was like, oh my God, it's blue, isn't it? No, I said it was green. No, it was blue. No, you're being emotional right now. But I just heard you say with my own ears that you said, no, I didn't. I never said that. I said it was green. You see how ridiculous that sounds? Because that's what this is. Do you want to add anything, Abby?
Yeah, there's no hope for this. Sorry, Emma. This is not going to work out. And just go ahead and cut your losses before you get any deeper. Take some nice pictures around the Riyadh, and then go off on your own to explore Morocco for the next couple of week and a half or so, however long you have left.
Love it. Take that. Heed that. Be that. You guys, thank you so much for being with us. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We will be back tomorrow. We're going the other way. Until then, bye.
Ta-ta for now. TTFN.